Hey everyone, this is Adam, and today I'm going to be showing you a quick tutorial on how to export your HTML email designs from Figma to the Moosend email marketing platform using the Emailify plugin. So to get started, all we need to do is go to our Figma file, click on the resources icon at the top here, and then if you search for Emailify, so that's Emailify, and under the plugins tab, if you click on that and then click on the Emailify item, you can run the plugin by either clicking on this run button here, or I'd recommend clicking on this little save icon here, and that's going to let you run the plugin from your saved plugins list. So I've already clicked on the save icon, so I'm just going to go to my canvas, right click anywhere, go down to plugins, then go down to saved plugins and click on Emailify. And that's just going to run the plugin we saved a second ago. So if you're new to the plugin, the way that it works is it helps you to design HTML emails in Figma, which you can then export to production ready code from the plugin. So I'm just going to create a brand new email here called Moosend template example. And I'm just going to click on add new Emailify container. And I'm just going to create a really simple example. I'm not going to be going through all of the design tools that the plugin offers today. If you're new to the plugin and you're interested in learning more about that, there's a bunch of other good tutorials on the YouTube channel and the documentation that you should check out. But for today, I'm just going to be creating a really simple example and not modify any of the design or content. I just want to basically show you how to export this to HTML and then get it into the Moosend platform. So once you're happy with your design and components, just go ahead and click on the footer tab in the plugin and then scroll down to the letter M, and under the letter M you'll see a Moosend option for a footer. So go ahead and click on that Moosend footer, and that's going to automatically pre-populate these links here with the correct tags that Moosend's going to be looking for. So for example, if we click on this unsubscribe link and then click on the link settings up in the plugin header, we can see here that the unsubscribe link tag's been pre-populated along with the view in browser link as well. So these are automatically going to work once we upload our HTML to Moosend in a minute. So now that we've got our Moosend footer included in the design, and assuming you're happy with the layout, you can preview the HTML just by clicking on the preview button in the plugin. And that's just going to give you a real-time HTML preview of what that code's going to render like in your email client. And you can see here that we can switch between mobile and desktop. So that's going to allow us to check out the design before we export it for Moosend. And if you want to add things like mobile overrides and things like that, again, you can just go ahead and click on the settings button here and then click on any of these layers to add mobile overrides like font size and padding and things like that. Again, I'm not going to be going into detail on these today, but feel free to check out the documentation and other video tutorials for more on that. So I'm just going to close off the preview now. I'm happy with my HTML template, and I'm just going to close that off. And then we're going to click on the Export HTML button in the top right of the plugin here. So if you go ahead and click on Export HTML, and you'll see that the default option selected is the HTML email option. So this is going to let us download the HTML to our computer. But I want to actually go to the platform integration section here. And again, just scroll down to the letter M, and you'll see Moosend as one of the options. So just go ahead and click on that Moosend option. And once you've got that selected, we can now add things like our subject line. So I'm just going to add test subject line here. And you can also add pre-header text. So the pre-header text is what shows up next to the subject line. So when you open up the email in your email client, you'll have the subject line, and then the pre-header text is what shows up underneath or next to that. So I'm just going to add some copy here, and then we can basically export this for Moosend. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on this export for Moosend button now, and that's going to export the HTML and images for me. And once it's done, you're going to get this message here, which says that your email code is ready for importing into Moosend. So what you want to do is click on this download your zip file button. And when you click on that, just pick anywhere to save it. I'm just going to save it to my desktop. And then once you've saved that, just go ahead and unzip that file. So I've just unzipped it on my desktop. I've opened it up here, and you can see inside of the zip file that we just downloaded, we've got a previews page, which is going to let us check out the email that we exported in our preview. So for example, if we create a new tab in our browser and drag that in, you can load up that preview so you can see what it looks like in desktop and mobile. But the file that we're really looking for today is inside of the email template here. So you can see we've got our folder name matching the frame. So Moosend template email, we've got a folder called Moosend template email. And what we basically want to get is this index.html file. So if we get that index.html file, and then we go to Moosend, so just log into your Moosend account, then go to campaigns up the top here, and just click on regular. And once you click on that and it loads up, just go ahead and click on this create new campaign button in Moosend. Again, click on regular, the create button under that regular heading. And once that loads up, you can do things like give it a name. So I'm just going to call this test campaign. And subject line, we can just use the same subject line that we used in our Figma file. And for pre-header or preview text, you can actually leave this blank if you've already added it in your Figma file here. Remember when we just added it to this input field here. If you've already added your pre-header text here, you don't need to add it again in Moosend, or it will double up. But you can add the subject line here and also in Moosend as well, because the subject line is going to get rendered in the title tag in the HTML. So if you're using things like view in the browser links, this text here is going to show up as the name of that tab or browser window. So you can populate this to be the same as Moosend, but again, if you've populated the pre-header text, just leave that blank and keep the subject line the same. So now that we've got that populated, just go ahead and click on next, and that's going to bring us to the list. So just choose your email list, whichever list you want to send the email to. So this is going to bring us to step 3, which is the design step. And this is where we can now import our custom HTML design into Moosend. So what you want to do is scroll down to the bottom of this page, and we want to go down to this imported campaign template section and toggle that from off to be on. So just go ahead and click on that toggle switch here in the bottom right. And that's basically going to swap that custom design template out for this imported campaign template section. So now you can see we've got these different fields here, and it's giving us a few ways to import the code. So the method that we want to use is actually importing it via pasting in the HTML code. So to import our HTML that we just exported from the plugin, what we need to do is just open up that HTML file. So I'm just going to open up a new browser window, drag and drop that index.html file we exported inside of this folder here, drag and drop that into your browser. And the quickest way to get the code is just by right-clicking anywhere, going down to View Page Source, and then clicking on that. And here you'll see all of the HTML code that was exported for this file. So what you want to do is select all of that content by Command A in Mac or Control A on Windows, and then just right-click that and click Copy. And that's going to copy all of the HTML to your clipboard. And then what we can do is just go back to Moosend, and where it says import via pasting your HTML code, just click on that text area here and then paste in that code by just pasting it from your clipboard. So that's Command V if you're on Mac, or just Control V if you're on Windows. And you can see it's pasted in all of that code. So the final thing we need to do is just click on this import button now. So click on import underneath that text area. And you can see on the right here, it's loading in that HTML. So this is what the campaign is going to look like. This is the real HTML that we exported from Figma for Moosend, and it's being loaded up as we expect based on the preview that we saw in Figma. And you'll notice down here, it's got the unsubscribe link. And if you look in the bottom left of the browser window, you can see that that's being populated with the dynamic unsubscribe link. And it's also populating the view in browser link. So you can see it's adding the Moosend link to view this campaign in the browser once we send that out. So that's basically ready to go. So the next thing we need to do is just click on the next button again in the bottom right corner. For this step, you can basically just skip it. It's just saying you can add things like dynamic content or unsubscribe links. As we've already added our unsubscribe link, you don't need to do this. So just leave that blank and click on next. And this is going to give you the final step to schedule the delivery. So if you want to send the campaign now, you can send it right away, or you can schedule it to be sent at a later time. But if you're using the Moosend platform, you're probably already used to this step anyway. So I'm not going to go through how to actually send out the campaign and schedule that. You can kind of do that in your own time. But once you're happy with it, of course, as usual, you'll get to this final preview step once you populate all this content, and you can send out the campaign as you want. But the important thing is it's going to use that HTML code, that HTML template that we just loaded in, and it's going to send that out as a nice custom HTML email directly from the Moosend platform. So that's basically it. I just wanted to run through all of those steps with you, showing you how to create, export, and import the HTML code from Figma into the Moosend platform for custom HTML email sends in Moosend. So I hope that's helpful if you're using the Moosend email platform, and thank you as always for watching. We'll be back soon with more Figma tutorials like this one shortly.